This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Let's talk with Nate Olson from Scorebook Live. Nate, we basically did an hour and 18 minutes so far of college football, so now we can go into high school for this segment. Yeah. How you doing, man? How did you enjoy getting back into it week one?
Well, I enjoyed it a lot, and I was able to actually went to a volleyball game on Friday night. We cover a lot of volleyball, and Benton and Bryant were playing in that game. Benton, really, very good team. So I went to the softball Saturday. That was really great. Hot, but then a weather delay, and Braylon Russell, who I mentioned last week, I think was running back. So if I didn't, I should have. But very good running back, and was injured in that game. 7-6 at halftime. And he kept them in it, and then high ankle sprain, couldn't play the second half, and Bryant runs away with it. But I really would have liked to seen what happened if Russell was in there. For the Razorback fans, some of you have seen him. If you have a chance to see him and he's healthy, hopefully he will be, you need to check him out. I saw him play last year, but he was 65% with his foot. He had a turf toe and then an upper foot injury, top of the foot. Never was healthy, and he looked really good. If they can get him healthy, keep him healthy, he's going to be a major factor. And I think Arkansas fans should be excited about him. He really brought a different dimension to that game. So I enjoyed being there. Obviously, being in Bryant, I like being there and seeing all of the. I got friends on both sides, so it's always a fun night. And Benton is still a good football team. They've got a good chance at 6A. Every year, it seems like they've gotten beat. They come back and do well during the season.
You had that Northside Southside game week one. How did that go? Because you got the matchup this week with Greenwood, Northside. That should be a battle, huh?
Yeah, and just to visit, and we'll talk a little bit about Southside too, maybe. But that was sometimes you ask me what the surprises are, and I was ready for that one. If you did ask me, Matt. Last week, Southside winning was a bit of a surprise for me, although I do feel like I had them marked down as a team that could be a surprise this year, make a little noise in the West. I think there's a little wiggle room in that third or fourth spot, and maybe Coach Dameron has a team with some talent on it that in his system that they can make a little noise. So they won, beat your alma mater for the first time in 8 years, snapped 7-game winning streak. Or losing streak, and then Northside, on the other side of that tonight, they're trying to avenge a tough loss last year. Greenwood, Kane Archer, when it's all said and done, he's probably going to be one of the better quarterbacks to come out of here. And one of the moments that I'm going to remember most is I'm going to say true freshman. As a freshman, he comes in the ball game for an injured Hunter Houston, and they're down. He leads them back on a comeback on an onside kick and a Hail Mary, and they win the game. Incredible stuff for a 14-year-old kid. He's a year older. He is very good. He started last week, led them to a win against Stillwater, and he's looking for another one tonight. And Northside didn't play bad in the Southside game, but I know they really hated to lose that one, and they've got to come back tonight because Greenwood is really good. Playing at home, Northside is. McLean Moody, great performance. We talked about it. He's your stature, 6'6", 210, a good baseball player. 343 yards and 4 touchdowns last week. And Cameron Massey, 143 yards and 2 TDs receiving. So they've got a good passing game. They've got some good athletes. The non-conference is what it is. You don't have to win if you're not trying to get 3 wins to get to a bowl or anything. It's the regular season is what's going to get you to the playoffs. But I don't think Northside wants to start 0-2, and so this is a big game for them. Greenwood always gets up for playing the bigger schools and now it's kind of old hat for them. But this is getting to be a rivalry game, and I expect a really good atmosphere and a good ball game tonight.
Speaking of rivalries, Harrison's going to Mountain Home, man. Goblins and Bombers, that's all without. We were up there, I think, last year. When for the day before that game, and you could tell who was who. We were in Mountain Home, so we saw a lot more blue. What do you think's going to go on in Mountain Home?
Well, I learned something new. That's the second longest rivalry in Arkansas next to Springdale and Fayetteville. And so it's like 50 miles separate them. It's a big rivalry, but Harrison is dominated 55-17-3. They've won the last 10. I'll tell you what, though, I really like Mountain Home. Steve Airy, he was in Missouri. He was a Hall of Fame coach there for years. Came to Harrison briefly as an assistant, and then has taken over, at Mountain Home, and had a nice assist early from Ryan Mallett. The late Ryan Mallett was his offensive coordinator, and they kind of got some things together going a little bit. I've been to the quarterfinals of the playoffs every year that he's been there, but they play in that very, very tough 6A West that we'll talk at length about throughout the fall. But I like what they're doing there. And Cade Yates is a good quarterback, probably one of the better quarterbacks you haven't heard of, all-conference player, passed for over 200 yards last week, and beat Nettleton, who is a 5A East power, a team that we really like, is going to contend with Valley View for the championship. They beat them last year, but it kind of seems like Harrison kind of has their number, and I think it'll be a close game. Maybe give Harrison a little bit of the edge here. Braden Long, 1,400 yards rushing last year. Good. They're always known for the running game. I think they're a little bit, light in returners on defense. That's something Mountain Home could take advantage of. I see it going down to the wire. Mountain Home has a chance to break this losing streak, but we'll see if they can finish it off. Mountain Home's gonna upset some people. It's just a matter, who that is, and maybe that's tonight.
Nate, I'm sitting here with some Razorback ladies, and they're from the Rogers Mounties area. We got to know how the Rogers Mounties going to be this year. Who do they play tonight? Are they going to be any good this year?
Rogers is going to be good. I think they are good. Dane Williams is a converted defensive player. His dad's the defensive coordinator there, and he's established himself, I think, Matt, as one of the better quarterbacks. I'd love for you to look at a little film on him. I like him a lot, and they've got a running back by the name of Jenkins, so they've got a really good 1-2 punch there. And we talked about, Southside. Well, I think Rogers is that other team that could, elevate themselves, to contend, in the top two. So, they're going to be right there, I think, 3 or 4, and also Southside. So I think that Chad Harbison's done an awesome job there. They play a team out of Oklahoma tonight, and I think they're going to have a chance to win. I wouldn't be surprised if they're 3-0 going into the conference. And, Fayetteville and Bentonville are the favorites, but wouldn't be surprised if they give them, they beat Fayetteville last year on a last-second field goal. J.T. Miller, one of the better kickers in the state. He's got some college offers, so they are good. Your Rogers and Razorback ladies should be excited because I think the Mounties are back, and we'll have a good football team this year.
Let's close on Bentonville and Conway. Which this is interesting. Bentonville coming off of a shutout win against Broken Arrow across the border, and this is Buck James's first game as Conway's head coach. So got a lot going on there.
A lot to unpack. First with Bentonville, not surprised they won last week. Surprised how they won. 41-0. That's a good school, a good football power. Broken Arrow in the Tulsa area. Demolished them. C.J. Brown, huge night. Another Razorback commit, a guy you can be excited about, an electric receiver. He hooks up with Carter Nye, the veteran quarterback, forms one of the better duos in the state. Fantastic offense. They lose Joey Sue at the line, but still manage to have some beef up there to protect those guys. They're breaking in some running backs and filling in some spots on defense, but I think they fired a shot last week and kind of said, hey, we lost the state championship game, but we are a championship contender. And it's interesting that they play Conway and Buck James. It's Buck's first game at Conway. I really feel like they can be a contender with him. I think they'll win a championship before his tenure's over. I don't know if it'll happen this year. Some people think it will. But one thing that's kind of interesting is I don't think Coach Jody Grant of Bentonville was real happy with how Bentonville won the ball game, or how Bryant won the ball game last year in the championship game. scored a touchdown late, and Bryant wasn't real happy with some of the things that were put on social media. So I don't know if all that correlated together, but I don't think Grant was happy. So you're facing Buck James with a different team. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I know that Bentonville wants to play Bryant again. I think they want to play them again. I would love to play them in the state championship. This is going to be a good game. Conway's a good team. They were in the semifinals the last couple of years. The cupboard's not bare, and Donovan Molo's a great quarterback. So I look for a fantastic 7A game tonight in Bentonville.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.